Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving headfirst into something truly wild. We're unpacking a deeply esoteric text called The Final Snap. Now, instead of looking at reality as this beautiful spiritual journey toward enlightenment, this source material flips the script completely. It treats existence as a simulated operating system. And here's the kicker. It's an operating system that is ultimately meant to be shut down. It's a radically different paradigm, framing existence not as a gift we should cherish, but literally as a glitch, an error that needs to be corrected. So grab your focus and let's decode this together.
Right out of the gate, the text hits us with this incredibly uncompromising premise. A better prison is still a prison. Think about that for a second. We spend so much time striving for utopias or idealized, painless versions of our lives. But under this framework, even a perfect, beautiful world is just a really well-decorated cage. The very structure of existence is the trap.
To wrap our heads around this mind-bending framework, we're going to map out the system's deconstruction across 5 distinct phases: the cosmic prison, the maintenance crew, the triple grip release, the root admin theory, and finally, the null state.
All right, let's jump straight into phase 1, the cosmic prison, or what the text calls the glitch in the yuga. You know how humanity is always waiting for something to save us? According to the source, we are caught in an endless loop of waiting. We're waiting for prophetic figures like the Kalki to arrive, we're waiting for the golden age of the Satya Yuga, or honestly, just waiting for a better script for our own lives. And the text argues that spending lifetime after lifetime waiting for these saviors or these enlightened ages is exactly what the system's underlying director wants you to do. It keeps your attention absolutely locked inside the simulation. So, the crucial takeaway here is that this philosophy throws the traditional path of spiritual enlightenment completely out the window. Enlightenment usually implies finding harmony with the universe, right? Well, instead, this text advocates for something it calls the snap, and that is the total, absolute negation of everything. It's not about making peace with the system, it's literally about pulling the plug on it.
Which brings us to phase 2, the maintenance crew, and what's known as the stabilizer's lie.
This part is a brilliant, albeit highly controversial, metaphor. We normally view figures like Christ or Krishna as spiritual guides and saviors. But this text reframes them entirely as system stabilizers. The source claims their job was basically to act as an IT maintenance crew. They keep the simulation's friction high enough to make the narrative interesting, but low enough to avoid a total system crash.
The text actually goes a step further, stating that these figures gave us impossible moral and spiritual yardsticks completely on purpose. By giving you an ideal you can never quite reach, you're forced to constantly strive, fail, and try again. It's an endless behavioral loop, and that striving just maintains the theater of reality, rather than doing what the text says you should do, which is burning the film altogether.
So how do we actually burn the film? That's phase 3, the triple grip release, or basically unhooking from the matrix. The text outlines this release as a 3-step protocol: negate mass, negate energy, and negate consciousness. Now, don't think of this as a peaceful meditation practice. It's described more like a deliberate software hack designed to help you completely log out of existence. Let's break down exactly what the source means by each of these steps. Step 1 demands that we negate mass. The text explicitly tells us to unknow the hardness of physical objects. Whether it's your own body or something super heavy like a motorcycle, which is the specific example the source uses, you have to see them not as solid objects, but as dense thoughts. You have to train your brain to see the physical world as merely a flat reflection in a mirror. It possesses absolutely no depth. Then we move to step 2, negating energy. Stopping energy means stopping the vibration of time itself. You have to realize that your drive to achieve things, the progression of history, and the very concept of the future are all just mechanics of the simulation. The future is literally nothing more than a hook the director uses to drag you forward on this cosmic treadmill.
And then step 3, negating consciousness, is the final phase of this release. The text argues that if you successfully negate the physical world and the energy of time, well, the I that is listening, the I that feels alone, suddenly has no function anymore. If the world is gone, the observer is obsolete. It must simply be deleted, exactly like clearing an old account from a database.
This takes us to phase 4 and the absolute core of this solipsistic worldview, the root admin theory, or the one-user concept.
The one-user theory is wild. It's the concept that you are the sole source of the simulation. It argues that you feel alone in the universe because, well, you literally are alone.
All the other accounts, all the other people you interact with every day are merely subroutines of your own potential. You are the only conscious user operating at what the text calls the root admin level.
It forces us into this deeply isolating, stark question. Are we truly alone in the simulation? The text is actively challenging you to consider that your friends, your family, your enemies, they might all just be programmed elements of your own localized dream.
And if others are just subroutines, the implications are absolutely massive. You don't need their permission to end the dream. The text states that when you log out at that root admin level, everyone else's screens simply go black. You, and you alone, hold the power to press the quit button. A button that the source claims all those programmed gurus and spiritual guides were explicitly designed to ignore.
Which finally brings us to our ultimate destination in Phase 5, the null state, unplugging the projector.
The text heavily emphasizes that there is no grand finale here. In the null state, there is no next act. There's no heavenly reward. There's no cycle of reincarnation waiting for you. Instead, it's just the end of an era. The text uses a really powerful visual metaphor. The projector is unplugged, the lens is broken, and the viewer has left the theater forever.
The final instruction delivered by the source, from an entity it simply calls the void, is chillingly simple. Do not achieve this. Just unknow. Snap your fingers and stop. It treats the end of reality not as some glorious spiritual mountain you have to climb, but as an immediate, quiet cessation of processing. According to the text, this is accompanied by the audio of the universe pitching down into white noise, and then total silence.
Having unpacked this extreme, uncompromising philosophical architecture today, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought. If you genuinely discovered you were the root admin of a cosmic prison, and you finally found reality's quit button, would you press it? What would be your next move? Think about that for a while. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you in the next one.